Every single one of us wants to build a highly successful business. I'm going to put the partner's money on the line to help you do just that.
Find an idea, prepare a business plan, then one big moment to deliver. Get ready for the place where entrepreneurs can find their elixir. This is The Pitch. Last time, we saw Herb, Thomas and Will secure the investment they needed. After a tough selection process, 3 more entrepreneurs are here, ready and waiting to ask the judges for a share of up to £1 million of investment. And now it's time for them to make their pitch. So let's meet the judges. Elixirr Partner and Retail Specialist, Jill Ross. Elixirr Partner and Innovation Lead, Brandon Bickler. And Entrepreneur and Founder, Stephen Neaton.
What we're looking for is a certain amount of passion and belief behind the proposition, and it's the quality of the individual, and we'll see if we stand behind them. Yeah, really excited for it, so let's get going.
Hoping to make walking routes safer in cities across the world, it's Florence Jumpp.
So my idea is a mobile navigation app that helps single travellers stay safer and actually feel safer when they're travelling. And I want to get mentorship from people who have done it before and obviously done it well. My name's Florence Jumpp. I'm an analyst at Elixirr. I'm here to pitch my business idea, SafeTrail. I'm looking for a mixture of capital and advice and mentorship from the experts at Elixirr in how to turn my idea into a successful business. So, the idea for SafeTrail was born about 1.5 years ago when I was in Vegas. I'd been in LA for a couple of months and I was sick and tired of not being able to walk anywhere, being from London. So I thought I'm going to get up early when it's not too hot and I'm going to walk from my hotel to the coach stop to get my coach back to LA. Google Maps said this would take about 45 minutes, so I left an hour, went along my way. 3/4 of the way into my journey, a freeway crossed my path. There was no way around it. I obviously couldn't cross it and I had to go all the way back the way I came, missed my bus and had to wait 8 hours in the desert for another one. Clearly, maps these days don't always do the functions that we want them to do. For lots of interesting reasons, solo travel is on the rise, but 47% of solo millennial female travellers perceive danger when they're travelling alone. Unfortunately, this perception is often accurate because about 95% of homicides happen against just one individual when they're on their own. SafeTrail is an app that is going to help people feel safer when they're travelling alone and actually keep them safer. It's going to combine Google Maps, crime statistics collected by the police, and safety information uploaded by users, and help users to plan directions to anywhere they want to go around their chosen cities. There's 120 million people who took part in solo travel in the last year. That's a 134% increase since 2008. Of this 120 million users, 30 million are millennial and 17.4 million of those are female. Based on a couple of travel planning apps that have been started in the last 3 to 4 years, SafeTrail is predicted to have 200,000 users in the first year. In the second year, the number I've reached is based on millennial social media behavior. So the average millennial has about 500 friends on Facebook and 850 followers on Instagram. If each of my 200,000 users tell about 10 people, or 10 people out of 500 or 800 see SafeTrail and only half of them download it, that's a user base of 1 million people in year 2. And using the same model to scale to put 4.5 million users in year 3. Because SafeTrail is about safety, there'll be people who want to share this anyway. They won't even be thinking about the commercial benefit, they'll just want to help other people. People might even share the content from SafeTrail without even knowing that it's come from SafeTrail, and discover SafeTrail through deep linking. As long as we've got deep links in the content that we create, people will come across the app. So, in terms of where the revenue is going to come from, location-based advertising is a £2.6 billion market, and using a proxy based on what Google paid for Waze. Waze is a crowdsourcing travel app, and Google bought it for $1.3 billion. I have figured out that SafeTrail, with this number of users, will have a revenue of £720,000 in year 1 and £3,240,000 in year 3. There are other potential streams that we could pursue. We could sell the data to councils. You know, your street lights have been out on this road for a long time, and that would help them to improve their local area. Because SafeTrail will be a global app, in countries where they don't collect safety and crime information very well, we could be that model, or we could collect the information and sell it to them. A freemium model, 55% of people who download a freemium model are willing to pay for the premium features. Scaling a business, making a successful business successful takes a lot, and that's why I want mentorship from you guys. If you're screwing up your face at the graph, this is why I'm here. So, why should you invest in me? So, I think I can add real value to Elixirr's already strong innovation offering. I'm a mature, experienced professional, eccentric at times, but you know, which entrepreneurs aren't? People would describe me as charismatic, energetic, resilient, and I always deliver. I always deliver. I went to Stanford last year and developed my network. In terms of SafeTrail specifically, there's a high crime rate in Oakland and San Francisco, especially around tourist hotspots. The map of crime literally maps on top of where all the tourists go in San Francisco. It's actually quite scary.
How do you know that?
So I looked up a map of places to go and things to see in San Francisco, and a map came up with lots of pictures of places to go. And then I looked at the San Francisco crime map as well, zoomed them out to the same level, and they map on kind of both on both. So I said previously I was asking for mentorship and help to scale the business, but I'm also asking for capital. I'm happy to receive this on a staggered basis where I achieve key milestones before you give me the next round of funding. So initially, I'd want £15,000 for a proof of concept. Then in January, I'd like £41,000 in order to build prototypes based on the lean startup model of building the prototype, seeing what people think, and building another prototype. And then in March, I'd like £63,000 to build a minimum viable functional product that can be put out to the market. And then in April, I'd want about £29,000 to really ramp up marketing efforts, build that big user base that I was talking about, and apply for further funding in order to make it a global app. Thank you for listening to my pitch.
So just to clear, you're looking for a total about 130, 140,000?
140.
Yes, plus 20% of my time as an analyst.
Who takes the liability? So if something happens?
That will be written in the terms and conditions, and everything that I refer to in the literature that I'll create will be, this is a statistically safer route for you to take. So the liability won't be on SafeTrail if something does happen, because nothing's certain, everybody knows that, as long as we make it clear that this is statistically safer, and it is, because that's what the numbers show, but you still need to be careful. You can't just go skipping down the road and not caring and not looking at your environment. I want to find a technical co-founder, and I know the best way to do that in Silicon Valley is to sell your idea to someone who wants to be a technical co-founder.
By the way, I'll just show my hand. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it makes sense. There's only a few questions. So number one, I assume you've looked. Is there anything out there like it already that people are doing stuff?
So I have one competitor, after talking to him a little bit and telling him a bit about, what I'm about and what I want to do. He is definitely interested in a joint venture, and we have a meeting in the diary for the end of November. I back my idea and myself.
Well, you said you always deliver. There it is, right?
I always deliver, yes, exactly.
And I have to say, resilience is one of for me, the cornerstone of entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
You're going to take tons of knocks. There's a lot of value in Waze, which is about the community and what the community shares. Mm-hmm. And I can see tons of value in a safety app that does the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I think you might find a few willing partners. There's few maps out there, even Nokia maps that's doing something. I mean, I think it'd be a very interesting conversation to talk to all the map companies.
Yeah, about.
They're desperately looking to beat Google at.
Yeah, exactly.
Driving engagement.
Just challenging the proposition a little bit. If I was a criminal.
Yeah.
And I wanted to perpetuate crime.
Yeah.
would I not just use your app to kind of know where you're going?
So it's not going to be as obvious as that to kind of say, this is a dangerous route, don't go this way, go this way. It will look just like Google Maps. Just like Google Maps has Waze as a plugin now. You don't really know what's going on in the background. It just recommends that this is a better route. So in terms of criminals thinking, oh, I'm going to go along this route because loads of people are, like I said, if you're not going, if everybody's not starting from the same A point, it'd be very difficult to figure out, you know, where to go and where to find these people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the only thing is if there's certain streets that are most often popping up as the safe streets. But I mean, I think it's something you need to think about.
Yeah.
There's something you need to come up with that, because I agree. I think people will worry about that. Well, if this is publishing the safe routes and I'm following these routes, then what stops a criminal from following these routes in some way? Or even the safe streets that always pop up in those routes.
And I want to get to a point where it's crowdsourced data, but also actual crime data collected by the police that they upload on a daily basis. So in the UK, they only upload the crime map once a month, whereas in San Francisco, they do it at the end of the close of business every day. So it'd be great to get it to a point where every country was doing that. And also with the crowdsourced data, that would have it would be a very powerful way for people to stay safe when they're traveling alone.
It sounds like with the precision of your numbers, you've done quite a detailed costing.
I have done a very detailed costing. I have not seen a weekend since I came back from South Africa in July. So yes, okay. I can give you the very detailed numbers if you want them.
And what do we get?
Yeah, so, and how much?
Oh yeah, 10%.
10%. Have you got any other investors?
Not at the moment, no.
Any other partners?
Myself. I have myself as an investment, as an investor.
Of course.
So.
Proper entrepreneur. If you wouldn't mind giving us a few minutes to have a little chat with our advisors.
Thank you very much for listening.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for the presentation. So, what did we think of SafeTrail?
I think her passion came through and she's clearly researched it a lot. I think there's an opportunity there. I think the valuation is crazy and I think the projections of revenue are probably crazy, but I was really impressed with what she did.
It's the user-generated piece for me, which is, I think it's got, if you look at it, actually it's all about user reviews, people sharing, it's that piece, but likewise you do need a bit of the kind of, the crime stats can give a base. But I think there's something there.
There's a couple of killer use cases that you want to start with and focus on and go from there. This could go in lots of different directions. Maybe there's something in here that you would focus on and get really good at, and that's where you go.
Do you think the proposition exists? I mean, I have to say for me it's a kind of a no-brainer.
I don't think it exists in terms of crowdsourcing, but I do think it exists in a static format. So actually to build on top of existing mapping data, it's not actually that difficult, and you could probably get a no brand mapping data and build on top of that relatively cheaply. But to do it the crowdsourced way, so that it's dynamic and ongoing, that's where there's real cost in it, but that's actually where the benefit is. Because if you could release even that API and plug into the Airbnbs or other apps, from a data perspective, that's pretty useful actually.
To make this replicable, even in India or wherever, you would have to use crowdsourcing because the maturity of crime data in countries outside of the US or outside of Europe, I would guess would be quite low. And that's where I think she needs to put a bit more thought into it.
But there are applications like that, even within cities, where the communities are under a lot of pressure for crime. And actually they want to clean their own streets up. And they'll be reporting, gang of youths there, blah, 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 I think that would be incredibly useful.
Why don't we sell this to the governments of the world? Why don't we sell this to the local councils who are actually really going to reap that benefit? If this is really going to be that crowdfunding type of arrangement, they're the people that are really going to see the value, and that's where we can get some quick sales and expand this proposition quite quickly.
Thoughts going through my mind is it a business or is it a social enterprise?
Florence is the right person who's got the passion and the vision, but she definitely needs a capable partner to kind of complement those skills, and I think that's something we could help with. The other thing, personally, I think is a bit unrealistic, is putting in one work day a week. How far to an MVP can you get without hiring a developer?
Yeah.
And what is that minimum? Because I almost think the worst thing you can do is do it the other way around and
Yeah.
start spending money. To your point, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
They are.
You can end up with a very expensive, cool-looking thing that doesn't do something that a customer wants.
I'm almost inclined to say to her, you know what, why don't you take the next 3 months? No money, next 3 months. You have access to our people. We'll pay for your salary for the next 3 months. And why don't you, to your point, Anthony, why don't you produce as close as you can get to a minimum viable product without leaving the City of London or, spending a dime on technology?
Would you use it?
I guess the right question is, why wouldn't you use it?
So I think it's another source of information, and again, I think it's just like creating that community.
Think City Mapper. You know City Mapper?
Yeah.
Imagine if they always have best route in the rain,
Yeah.
best route in this. What if they had safest route?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they have quiet routes. If you're biking from one place
Yeah.
to another, you can choose a quiet route.
Quiet route. They already have those kind of different ways to
But is that not
get
the
from A
risk?
to B.
Is that not a big risk in something like this? Because they could
Well, it's a risk and an opportunity, right?
There's an opportunity cost for any one of those guys like Citymapper to divert resource, time, whatever, to developing something like this. So why would they not sit back and let someone else build it, because that's what they do, and then go, okay, well, that's worth bringing in?
Is it a feature or is it an actual standalone app? I think Uber's a great example for when they released their open API, and now Uber's featured in United Airlines app, I think Airbnb,
Citymapper app.
Citymapper, just as a little feature within the app, but actually that's hugely beneficial. And
quite, yeah.
Exactly. And in terms of scalability, if it's executed in the right way, crowdsourced ideas are always scalable.
We always create new things, but actually as a consumer, you just want one place.
You know how I feel about it. I think I completely back it. A day a week made no sense to me. I mean, you either go all in and give it a go.
But you just said that, I don't think it's 3 months, 6 weeks?
Well, we can give it till January.
I think if she's serious about this, you're giving her 6 weeks paid work to go and work on a startup. Come back with an idea and we'll talk about equity when you've re-looked at it again. It's an amazing opportunity to get paid to go and do a startup for 6 weeks.
Well, but hang on.
We're not going to give it a...
I know it's an amazing opportunity. That's why we want something for it.
It's not valuable unless someone pays for it, right? You've got to get something in reward for your
So I'm
investment.
there must be something, even if it's a small something. I think that's part of being an entrepreneur. I do think it's terribly important at this early stage that you don't take too much of a founder's company.
I'd be willing to offer my time as an advisor to her. I love it. If we'd want to do that.
So you just push it up to 10% now.
But possibly, but I think you are the right person.
Yeah, I do think so too.
My mind's already spinning with people I could connect her to.
So I think we should.
So 10 might make sense.
I think we should do 10%.
And we will assign a partner mentor, and who better than the partner who runs our Silicon Valley initiative? Let's get her back.
Let's get her back.
Yeah, excellent. Firstly, I wanted to say you did a simply outstanding job.
Thank you.
Right, I think the general consensus here was great idea, fantastic presentation, and your passion shines through, and it's really excellent, very professionally done. There is a lot of love for this idea around here. People are very excited by it. We think there's a lot of application, and the trouble with it in some respects is that you can almost see too much application, We don't think you need to touch technology until you've got closer to a use case and seeing what consumers feel about it as they touch and feel it. We don't think you can do this on 1 day a week. So our offer to you is this. We want to get as close as possible by the middle of January to a minimum viable product design without touching a line of code. We're suggesting that you do it full time. You get put on it full time. We, of course, fund you through that period. You get the assistance of Elixirr to help you with that UX testing. And you get the assistance of, in particular, Brandon, who is very passionate about your idea and, of course, can bring a ton to it because he is our partner looking after the Silicon Valley side of it. And when and if it's appropriate, we'll then introduce it into that environment because we do think that that would probably be the best place to build the technology, find the partnerships. Brandon knows a lot of people in the university structure that he can connect you with.
For that, we'd like 10%. Okay. Does that make sense?
I'm glad that you're giving me a chance to prove that this is something that consumers really want, because then I can ask you for any amount of money based on that. So
see,
brilliant.
you
Middle of
spotted-
January.
You spotted that.
I have.
So, we have a deal?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Awesome. Congratulations. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Florence, congratulations.
Thank you.
Such a great job on your pitch. Well
Thank
done.
you.
How are you feeling?
I am so pleased with the outcome. I'm really happy that people could see in my idea what I could see in it. So I'm over the moon. My confidence levels have increased so much at during my time at Elixirr. And that has been, you know, a key driver in me applying for the pitch and taking my idea to the next level.
So tomorrow, what's first thing on the agenda to get started on this?
The plan. What do I need to produce by mid-January exactly, and what's the roadmap to get in there? So that's the initial thing I want to focus on tomorrow.
Wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I mean, Florence has been with us for about 6 months, and she's changed in that 6 months. She has poise and stature and passion and belief. And here she's owning something or feeling passionate about something that, frankly, has the potential to make a difference. It's just fantastic. I want to stand behind people like that. Really exciting, some wonderful ideas, and I think we've got some wonderful investment opportunities. So I think we can add a lot of value to those businesses. And I didn't think it could get better, but I think it just has.
Today, our pitcher walked away with the investment they needed. Could your business be next? Join us next time at The Pitch.